Oh, baby, it is Tuesday, July 1st, and a new month, a new era here at ShotQualityBets because, well, Moose, the cat is kind of out of the bag. We've talked about it a little bit here and there, but we are starting a brand new iteration of content here at Shot Quality, which is just HoopsChat. Pretty straightforward. There's no bets. There's no lobbing out plays every 5 seconds. If you're looking for that, you can still catch us on BetCast every so often. Our next episode is going to be on Thursday evening, July 3rd. But tonight is the first ever episode of just high-level basketball talk about what is going on in various leagues, NBA, college, WNBA. And Moose, it's not just going to be us. We're going to have a rotating team of guests every single episode. People who know what they're talking about can help us get a little bit smarter and can also, maybe bring in some shot quality data. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be right here on Shot Quality Bets on Twitter and YouTube every Tuesday night at 9:15. No sporadic timing. No, when is Moose and Justin going to come on my TV? No, you're going to know. Every Tuesday night is HoopsChat. So Moose, we're going to bring in our first guest in just a bit, but how are you feeling about the new show? What are you most excited to talk about? And it's just good to see you in a different context. No pressure today,
Man, I like betting as much as the next person, but dude, just talking ball, talking shop, the boys. Like, when you see those tweets that are like the boys just hanging out, but it's naming random basketball players. That's how I feel this is going to be like. It's just hanging out. It's just boys being guys.
We might just have a segment where we name basketball players. That could just
like a Michigan mercenary. You weren't kidding.
Oh! It's pretty crazy. I'll reveal maybe the full Wemby next time. It's very warm and humid in New York, guys. So please don't judge me for shaving my head in the middle of the summer. Nonetheless, we got a good show. We have a great guest for you. We're going to bring our guest in just a second. Maybe some of you might be able to guess someone I think is maybe the best college basketball analyst that isn't going to charge you too much for their work right now, who probably will end up somewhere you're going to know. A good friend of mine who has been shooting hoops with me out in Manhattan for a while now. Please welcome as our very first guest ever on Shot Quality Live HoopsChat. It's Matthew Winick. Mr. Matthew, the encyclopedia himself. A frequent guest of BetCast, came out to Vegas with us, had a good time out there. Good to see you. How you doing? And welcome to HoopsChat.
Honor to be the inaugural guest, and also an honor to be spending my Canada Day Eve with you guys as the resident Canadian of the trio here.
Yeah, let's go. Happy Canada Day. Are you officially a Canuck? Is that the right thing? Is that what you call yourself? Like, I don't know.
I mean, I'd say Canadian is probably.
I don't know. That's another hockey team, right?
Yeah.
So
that is another hockey team.
Maybe you're a Maple Leafs.
I don't know.
I don't know. Hopefully, that's not too prejudiced against Canadians going immediately to hockey. But we're not going to talk too much ice here. Matt, like the first thing he said to me when I asked him about coming on the show, he said, as long as I don't have to talk about another sport. And we've already broken that. But good to have you here. We're going to talk a little bit about Matt's specialties, what he does. If you've never heard about him before, I definitely recommend, going and checking out some of his stuff. Portal rankings expert. So that's going to be fun to talk about. We're going to talk a little bit about the nuances of roster construction tonight. I think that's the meta topic. So if you're just tuning in with us, maybe you're not catching it live. I think a good part about this show is that it doesn't have to be watched in a minute. You can come and watch the next day. It has like that podcast replayability. But we are, of course, streaming it live, taking questions. See you there in the chat. Come hang out with us. I think on YouTube is the easiest way to chat. I should probably put this on our Twitch channel as well. And we are now broadcasting on Twitch as well. So you can find us on Twitch at Shot Quality Bets, everywhere at Shot Quality Bets. So let's get into it. It is officially the off season for basketball, guys. The NBA is all but done. We have some moves flying around. We can talk about a few of those in the context of how these rosters are going to develop. I think that is the first place we're going to start our discussion tonight, because honestly, That's what everyone's talking about. My phone's blowing up with Shams notifications. I don't know if he's on the toilet, if I'm on the toilet while someone's getting them, but the toilet notifications are flying. Who is signing to the Knicks? Who's signing to the Suns? Who's signing? Matt, I don't know your favorite NBA team. Raptors. Wow. Sorry, happy Canada.
We just had this conversation. Yeah. Okay.
I know. This took me for a second. But all those teams are making some moves. So, Matt, you're the guest. I'm going to come to you first. What NBA move in the last 24, 48 hours have you noticed or has gotten you the most interested just from like a basketball strategy standpoint?
Yeah, I mean, for me, the answer is what the Denver Nuggets did, largely with their trading Michael Porter Jr. for Cam Johnson. It's something to be said about having smart basketball players on the floor across the board. And I can't get over the fact of this NBA playoffs with the concept of basketball that's typically considered a strong link sport where your best player with the person with the ball in your hands is going to be the most important player, turning into more of a weak link sport like soccer where you need to have everyone on the floor contribute in some way, shape, or form. And with Michael Porter Jr. in Denver, like obviously he's a great shooter. He's 6'10", but his constant gaffes defensively and offensively, his feel was not there. He's a bad passer. He's not in good positions often. And he's playing with the greatest passer, a big man passer of all time in Nikola Jokic. Just similar player in Cam Johnson, who's like a tall wing who can shoot threes, but just a baseline smarter player, I think will end up making a huge difference for Denver.
I'm excited about it. I mean, I'm a little worried. The West looks crazy. Moose, what do you make of that move? How do you feel about Cam Johnson heading out to Denver?
As a Suns fan, I know all too much about Cam Johnson. When we had him, he was awesome. Like he's a good shooter, spot up shooter. He spaces the floor really well. He plays pretty good defense. I know Michael Porter, his back injury, kind of his inability to really move horizontally, I would say, it's kind of a struggle. And with Jokic, he kind of petered out, so to speak. I mean, Cam Johnson's an upgrade. I know you had to get rid of a 2032 first-round pick, but you're in win now with who should be the 5-time MVP, not the 3-time, the 5-time. He's been the best player. He should have beat Embiid, should have beat SGA. It is what it is. Yes. He had the best season ever, let's be honest. I love the move. I love it because it's going to be outside of OKC, who's going to threat. They're the only team that I guess Indiana took them to 7, but other than Denver, that was it. So I like the move. Go win.
I mean, I pulled up the profile for Cam on the screen here. 94th efficiency in free throw shooting, which, if you're used to seeing all these numbers, is pretty much what you want to see in that baseline. Like if you're not a good free throw shooter, it usually means that the rest of your shooting process isn't elite. And it is. Again, he creates spacing at near 90th percentile, cuts at the 80th percentile, mid-range in the 80th percentile, three-point shooting 80th percentile. Like nothing even made the list outside the 75th percentile, guys.
I bet if we look at his from the actual shot quality website where it's even more in depth, I guarantee we'd see things like he's fantastic scoring off of passes, catch and shoot three, stuff like that. I mean, I love the move. Go win. Go win now.
It's scary. It's scary. So they don't have Russ, right? They're going to be looking for that auxiliary guard, but this is a team that I think is going to make some teams a little upset. Another good move. I like this from Michael in the comments here. Hawks building around Trey like Sixers did Iverson era 2000 team. I like it. What do we make of that team? I mean, I've heard some interesting takes. What are they? They brought in Kristaps, right? And then they got Dyson Daniels surrounding Trey now with that defensive presence. And
Alexander Walker, Kennard.
Right. Paid Nickeil Alexander-Walker. And now we have a sleeper build in the East, right? This is going to be a weakened East. There is no Tyrese Halliburton. There is no Tatum. I mean, what do you think? Is this going to be a year the Hawks actually go and get it done? They're going to need to. I mean, you don't want to see them in the play-in if you're excited about them, right, Matt?
I mean, look, you said today is about roster construction, and the Hawks are trying to build a specific type of roster, which is we have Trae Young. We're locked into Trae Young. We're going to do Trae Young. He's such a poor defender that you have to put 4 good defenders around him or you stand no chance on that end. And they've done a really good job in that sense. For like Dyson Daniels, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Porzingis is 7-3, Jalen Johnson at the 4 is pretty switchy. That's great, but the problem is I think that they've kind of punted on secondary playmaking. And on one hand, Trae Young's an unbelievable playmaker. He can get his own shot whenever. He's a great passer. But there's something to be said, and I can't stop going back to the NBA Finals with the Pacers and the Thunder. They have 3 at least ball handlers on the floor at all time, where if you put the ball in Halliburton, Nembhard, or Siakam's hands in the starting lineup, they're all playmakers. And then Thunder, same deal with Jalen Williams, SGA, and Chet Holmgren. Like, for their position, they are top-tier playmakers at that size. And with the Hawks, it's like give it to Trae Young and then have 4 floor spacers. Offensively, I think that you just need to be more dynamic in 2025 when you're playing NBA basketball. There has to be 3 guys at least that are initiating offense at some point.
I mean, it's a high-level claim, and it's not just to be good. It's to win championships, to be able to reach the pinnacle of the sport, which we just finished watching. And I think a really good segue here, because this was maybe one of the most polarizing NBA finals that I've ever witnessed as a fan and as an analyst. And what do I mean by that? I mean, you either were all about it and you loved every game and you were watching it and you were like, wow, this is just really fun basketball. These players are great. Or you were like, I didn't watch a single thing. I don't care about Oklahoma City. I don't care about Indiana. Give me the Knicks, the Celtics. Give me the stories. Give me the stars. I don't care which side individually anyone really winds up on. I personally have my own opinion, and I was watching the game because I do think, and Musa, I'll come to you with this one, and I'm interested in your take on it. I do think that this was almost like, okay, shot quality isn't necessarily in the building, but the concept, the idea of what shot quality was about 5 years ago, before the rim and 3 revolution of the last half decade. I mean, this was the product, right? This finals is kind of like what we've been trending towards: shell defenses, fully adaptable offenses. Like Matt just said, initiation from 3 spots on the floor on both teams, shooters at all 5 positions. There were 10 shooters on the floor for like a good portion of that. That's crazy. So I don't know, Musa, is this like the peak of basketball? Is this good? Like, what do you think happens from here? Are we just going to continue to see finals like this for the rest of the time and just hope that they're the teams other people want?
I mean, it's tough. I mean, I think the rim and 3 shot quality kind of analytically friendly style of basketball is coming on the heels of like sabermetrics and Moneyball in baseball. I mean, you saw it with like
second sport mention. Matt's gonna leave.
Yeah,
I know,
baseball and hockey.
But you get what I'm saying, though. It's like in baseball, it was almost like they were lepers in a way, the way they were trying to like create a new way of looking at baseball. And now everybody does it. Like the Dodgers and the Rays are the tops in the analytical department. One spends all the money in the world and wins championships. The other one doesn't spend money and still gets the World Series. In basketball, I mean, the Boston Celtics, if we go back, you go to shot quality right now. They were the number 1 team in rim and 3 rate last year. They were number 2 in rim and 3 rate the year before.
I mean, I just saw a report that like every analyst is worth like $7 million in terms of like equivalent value of players' salary in the NBA.
It's right now. Like we're getting to that part where it's like, oh, maybe some people aren't loving it, so to speak. I think it's good because you're hunting good shots, and I think ISO ball, mid-range, step back, 16-footer is not exactly. We're
getting to some good stuff. We're getting to the meat.
It's kind of Kobe's highlights, which is nice. And some teams can do it. Like the Houston Cougars did it in college basketball, and they should have won the championship if it wasn't for Emmanuel Sharp. You're a great basketball player. If you ever watch this, I think the world of you. But I mean, what happened in the last 2 possessions happened, and it's unfortunate. But, I mean, that's how far the team got. He was a big part of it, and that was their kind of shot profile. You can still win that way, but a lot of these teams that subscribe to the new style of basketball are very, very good at what they do, and the Celtics are kind of our Oakland A's or, our Purdue Boilermakers, so to speak. Like, they're doing this rim and three, and they're thriving. I mean, you can say the Celtics spent money, but they were awesome last year, and they could have maybe won this year if it wasn't for Tatum blowing his shit out. So,
well, then we could say that one for a different episode.
Knicks played well. Jalen Brunson was. I mean, sometimes it's like.
No, but
like
you're on to something.
The dog's going to be a dog. Like, they're just going to cook.
No, of course, no. I mean, shout out to Jalen Brunson. Big fan. I can't even believe it. I don't understand how he's my height and moves like that.
No, but that throws analytics out the window when a guy just says, "Hey, you know what? This is my game," and he shoots.
Yeah, I mean, but that's sport. That's what makes it so beautiful, right? And so, all right, we touched on a lot there, Matt. Do you have any? What's your thought on what Musa just said?
I think trying to give a nerdy word out there, the word heliocentric is something that people like to use in basketball. I know Musa's face is like, what?
Musa loves vocabulary words. He always calls. That's the thing. I think we should keep like a running list of words Musa learns while
I know you. Yeah. Oh, I'm learning a lot.
Hey,
yeah, but I mean heliocentric meaning that like an NBA or college basketball team, whatever it might be, the team is built around one guy the ball is in his hands, and he's basically the lead initiator and basically the sole initiator. And when the commenter was like how the Hawks were building around Trae Young like the 76ers did with Allen Iverson with the 76ers is a great example of a heliocentric guard. And I don't think that works in 2025 because you talk about all of the off-ball movement and the floor spacing and the jumbo creators, whether it's the Celtics, like, yeah, they lead the league in rim and three rate, but what they really have is their two play finishers are their wings, and then their guards are their floor spacers, which is kind of a reverse of what most teams used to do. And then the only like really amazing heliocentric player in the NBA right now is Nikola Jokic, and that's another inversion where your ball handler and your main sort of hub is the center.
You have to like break the mold,
right?
To break the mold.
Exactly. So it's either you're in the Pacers and Thunder mold where you have 3 ball handlers on the floor, and obviously SGA is a high usage player, but he had another guard who was high usage and an all-star on his own team. So he's not that much of a ball dominant player. And then the only true, like, in my opinion, like impact on winning ball dominant player is a center. So that should tell you all you need to know about roster construction and how you build a team with multiple pieces rather than just one.
Yeah, I agree. It's gonna be an interesting era for the NBA. I mean, we're seeing now the second apron and even the first apron looms so large, repeat tax, this new CBA, and how everything is going to pan out in terms of holding on to your talent, your homegrown talent, your ability to buy like actual, like, I guess, echelon jumps, and then your ability to keep a window open. I mean, it just feels like there's really not going to be much of a dynasty anymore. This is the 6th or 7th year with a new champion in the NBA. Is that correct? We haven't even seen, not back to back, not even just any of those teams that have won since like 2019 have won again. So I don't know. That's an interesting question. That's kind of a little college-like, and we can segue into our everyone's preferred sport. It is more of an NBA season with all these moves in the offseason, but we all want to talk college. We're going to talk some college. Yeah. But, it's not – there isn't necessarily like, I guess, one answer. And the way it's trending and the way the game's played now is so rim and three centric that you feel like teams kind of get left behind when they don't play that way. But I think it's interesting because at the other end of that spectrum, the mid-range jumper is still the great equalizer, right? Like if you can get to it, even if you can't get to it, like that's a shot you're going to need to take in the last 2 seconds of the clock. And if you can hit them it's equal to if a team runs a great set and gets a free layup, right? So that's the beauty of basketball.
But it hurts more.
Hurts more. Oh, baby, it's hurt more. But anyway, if you've just joined us, you're watching the first ever episode of Shot Quality Live Hoops Chat. I'm Justin Perri. I'll be joined by one of these co-hosts. We got Moose here today. Max Moose will filter in and out. Who knows? We'll be here. We'll figure it out. I'll always be here. One of them will always be here. And we'll always have a guest hanging out with us, talking a little high-level basketball, whether it's roster composition, maybe predictions for awards, tournaments, conferences, who knows? But we're going to break it down using data points, using a little expertise. And honestly, you're not going to get many direct advice. Don't go play this, play that. You might come to a conclusion. You might learn something. You might find a new avenue in which to approach the game in your thought process. But it's talk show. Welcome to the Shot Quality Basketball Talk Show every Tuesday night at 9:15. So set your calendars. Tell your girlfriend just a little bit more ARB time. It's going to be okay. We're going to talk some contemporary issues. It's going to be a good time. Honestly, a departure from what a lot of the content around here has been, and I like that. I like just getting to talk about stuff. So talk a little college hoops. We talked about the NBA. It's the pinnacle of the sport. The main difference, in my opinion, between when you watch the NBA and you watch college is that the players just kind of don't miss in the NBA. When they get their shot, they make their shot. And so college invites that variability of that not happening when you expect it. So what it leads to is us all having a lot of fun riding the roller coaster, the ups and downs as teams go on runs and the game shifts and a team that's up by 15 in the first half loses the second half by 22. And we all sit there pulling our hair out while there's a lid on the rim for 10 minutes. It is unlike anything else. But battling through, I guess, the full season, 5,000 games a year, and arriving at March Madness every single spring is maybe one of the most magic experiences I think a sports fan can have because of the labor of love, the pure volume of college sports demands from its fans. The majority of college basketball fans, none of them here, maybe watch their team, maybe watch their conference, maybe watch a few regional conferences. This is a trio that probably together, I don't even want to out us for the amount of hoops watched. I'm not going to do that to us here today. We have to keep our persona alive as healthy, functioning adults in society. But we're only like 20 weeks away from another spin around the sun. Matt, your work and what I think you, as the sirens start to chase me down at the perfect time, your work and what you are so well known for is your preseason dossier, every player, every transfer, every team, notes, grades. I want to give you just a quick chance to tell people what you do and what your process is. So take it away and flex a little for us. Why do I call you one of the best analysts I know right now?
First of all, I appreciate it. Second of all, it's typically a 2-document analysis. There's going to be a third little piece in there this year that I'll get to later. The transfer rankings will be out by the end of this month, now that it's July. And then the final rankings will be out sometime in September. The way that it will work is the transfer rankings. This year, I've added a lot to it. It's going to be every D1 to D1 transfer that's played at least 10% of their team's minutes the year prior or their last full season active. So that's an undertaking. I'm at the letter I, going backwards. Going backwards from Youngstown State as the lowest on the alphabetical order. Now we're at I, so there's 9 letters left. So we're like 75% of the way there almost. Every single player, and like we're getting pretty in depth. I mean, I'm doing like a sentence or two on a SWAC transfer, but anybody that's worth anything is going to get like a real grade. And so it's going to be name, new school, old school, their grade from A to F, the player archetype, what type of role will they fit in their new team, and then a conference comparison, a player that played in the conference they're transferring to last year as a good comparison, and then some notes on that player. So you're going to be able to figure out what's this player good at and bad at, some numbers and some stats behind that, what role is he going to play on his new team, and then, especially this is really good for unique players where it's like, okay, well, you're a 275-pound 6'6" wing for like Kansas State picked up one of those from Bowling Green. Like what 6'6", 275-pound wing like worked in the Big 12 last year? None. Maybe that's not the right type of player to add to a high.
I know who you're talking about too. That was a big dude.
Marcus Johnson from Bowling Green.
Yeah.
So I think that, and I think that it's
everyone
really
wanted him to make the tournament so bad.
Yeah, it would have been funny. And, maybe he'll be the next DJ Burns, even though he's not a post-up player, which people get that wrong. They're just both chunky men. But essentially the point is to try to like holistically look at every transfer. The one thing I will never do with all of these points and things, I will never look at their box score stats. So I do not know how many points, rebounds, or assists per game anybody had. I know everything else, but I don't know those three things, and I happily.
Okay. Well, I mean, for maybe some people who aren't used to your brand of analysis, why not?
Well, multiple reasons. First of all, the pace of play gap between the slowest and fastest teams in college basketball is gargantuan. Unlike in the NBA, where most teams play pretty much the same speed, there's a team that might play 59 possessions per game and a team that might play 74 possessions per game. And that's like a huge difference if you're talking about just counting rate stats. And then second of all, you need context. My grades are not just caliber of player, it's for that conference. So like if you're going from the SWAC to the Southland, you're better off in going from, the ACC to the Southland. There's a different curve. Mm-hmm. Like what does 20 points in the MEAC mean versus 20 points in the SEC? Using rate stats and comparing those on is just much better apples comparison versus what you might get in a points per game because of pace, because of possessions, and because of level.
I do feel like you see that every year. Like a dude who scores like 19 points per game and like the MEAC transfer to an ACC school and he plays like 10 minutes a game.
It does not work.
Well, Frankie not Frankie Ferrari, the dude who played at Omaha.
Frankie Fiddler. I actually went into this exact. So LSU paid a boatload of money for a guy named Markel Sutton who played at Omaha last year, which is the same school Frankie Fiddler played at. They're both first team All Summit League. They both finished second in Ken Palm's Summit League Player of the Year awards as like power forwards who could rebound and get to the rim and score on the inside. Pretty athletic, and then they hit their threes occasionally. And then Frankie Fiddler shot 16% from three at Michigan State, became a bench player because the Summit League is one of the 5 worst defensive efficiency conferences in the country, and he wasn't able to replicate that as an undersized forward. And like now this guy, Markel Sutton, is going to the SEC. That's not translatable to be a power forward in the Summit League moving, and he was bad in the non-conference. So it's like it's not really that hard. You've got to unpeel a couple of layers of the onion, and then you have an answer.
I mean, and that's the thing. That's why I love Matt. Matt is just the master of the onion. Like that's a good way. That's a good way to point it. Dude's got like oniony fingers. He's just peeling away these layers all day. No one's got more onion on their hands than this guy right here, and that's why he's going to be on the show regularly. We call him the encyclopedia for a reason. Musa does a good job too. I will say every time we're on BetCast, Musa like puts me on the spot with a college player that I have no idea went to college where he went, and I really should, and it's really bad because I'm trying to run the show, and Musa's like, I don't know, but I feel like with Matt here, Musa, go ahead, give him one, go.
Oh, well, it has to be like a guy we're watching.
All right. Oh, I can't. Who signed somewhere big recently? I think I know this one. Where? Jordan Clarkson,
Missouri.
There you go. All right.
Well, he's gonna get it.
I know everybody, so it's not really.
I know it's not even fun. There's no. When Musa asks me, I sit there like goddamn Patrick Star out of a retro episode of SpongeBob, and you can hear the wind going through my ears. It's just different. There is obviously levels. And we're gonna try to bring you people who help us level up. When Matt talks to me, he makes me feel like I'm getting smarter at basketball, and that's what I like. So really excited to have him here. He's gonna hopefully show up like once a month. So make sure you tune in for the Winick episodes and make sure you check out his work. But let's talk a little bit about maybe some specific rosters. I don't know, Matt. Is there? You said you're up to like a specific letter. You don't have to get into a Power 5 team because I'm sure the carries more weight and value and all that. But like, I don't know, what's like a team that maybe is under the radar that actually did a good job building for fit and not flashy points per game stats that you're comfortable talking about?
How deep in the weeds do we want to get here?
Oh, dude, what do you mean? How there's no such
deep.
thing. This is the weeds show. You are on the show where there is no such thing as too much depth. I want to talk about the SWAC. I want to talk about the MEAC. I want to talk about the MAAC. I tweeted about Brother Jasper grittying across the Manhattan skyline at Dratty Gymnasium today, and I didn't get a single like. But I will be fully ready to quote tweet that with a video of that exact thing happening when I am there. And that's the only reason I tweeted that, to set up a future tweet. So no, there's no such thing as in the weeds around here, Matt. So tell me, what team that only 2 people who are watching this that have heard of are you excited about?
We're going to talk about 2 teams real quickly, okay? One sort of in the weeds, one really in the weeds. Northwestern State. Both of them killed the transfer portal. What conference is Northwestern State in? Do we have any takers or?
Well, I think it's Southland, right?
Yes,
it is Southland.
They're in the Southland. Yeah,
conferences I can do. Players, oh god, I mean,
good.
We're gonna need to do like the Sporkle quiz test for guests at some point and roast them. But anyway, yeah. So talk to me about some Southland hoops.
All right, so I'll go Northwestern real quickly. They got a 5'10" point guard from South Florida, Jaden Reed. Unbelievable freshman season as a pass first point guard. Then the whole obviously tragedy at South Florida with the coach passing away last offseason, right before the season started. He took on more of a scoring role, and he was pretty inefficient. But he's an awesome passer who hits open threes, and I love Chris Collins as a coach. He'll make that work. They also signed a guy, Arinton Page from Cincinnati, who's basically Matthew Nicholson without the awful beard. And he's very underrated because he was a backup at Cincinnati and USC. He'll be a starting center for them. But Northwestern State, we're going to talk about them because they signed 2 very random D1 to D1 transfers that actually played real minutes in their team. They actually signed a Baylor guy who was a freshman who didn't play. But 2 guys I'll talk about, Quentin Bolton from Arkansas Pine Bluff and Izzy Miles from Tarleton State, okay? We'll go Izzy Miles first really quickly. He's 6'2", and Tarleton had so many injury concerns last year that he played power forward at Tarleton at 6'2", but he's an unbelievable athlete, great rebounder for a guard, which is why he could play a little bit of the 4. And he's an unbelievable defender who could probably guard in the Southland 1 through 4. And on a team where he doesn't have to be a lead scoring option because Northwestern State has some good guards, I think he'll wreak some havoc and have some really nice dunks at the wing spot. But they signed this guy, Quentin Bolton from Arkansas Pine Bluff, who I'm sure no one was looking at because he was just chilling in the SWAC. He has the most ideal shot diet and profile. I'm talking about rim 3 rate. He shot 39% on catch and shoots and 60% at the rim. And over 90% of his shots were assisted. He was just like catch and shoot threes at 39%, rim attempts at 60%, dunking it at 6'6". He had an above average on-off defensive efficiency split on a bad defensive team. So he has good, wing size.
Where did they find this guy?
I'm not going to lie to you. I was like, this makes no sense. How are you making 40% of your threes, 60% at the rim on like no dribble jumpers, just like catch and shoot and rim only?
He was just like dropping 186 O ratings on Mississippi Valley State and 174s on Central Arkansas. Like this, he was just absolutely going crazy. He got against Central Arkansas last December. He just shot 6 of 9 from deep, put up 22 points, only took 3 shots from inside the arc.
Yeah,
like this. What?
That's a 61% true shooting. But the craziest thing that I've noticed about Quentin Bolton is he started almost every single game for Arkansas Pine Bluff, right? He played half of the team's minutes. He played in every single game. He had 8 assists the entire season.
Yeah, no, he didn't pass. He had only 1 game with 2 assists.
When you're a 6'7" wing who nails your threes and finishes at the rim, and you have length at the Southland level, he is the Cam Johnson of the Southland. He's just taking good shots. He's spacing the floor. He has good size, and he's finishing plays. And when you're at that level, if you can, like, I think that's the type of play that like a player that like a money ball, like mid-major team picks up. And this is a low major roster in the Southland that I think will benefit from his presence.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously, McNeese is going to be a little different, but you got to think that's going to be a very fun type of player to have in a conference that is not known for efficiency, is not known for ball security. And with that size, the players in the Southland get blocked. It's messy ball. I don't know, Musa, if you watch a lot of South. I watch a fair amount. It's hard. It's almost hard. You want to go watch that's like UIW, right? Like it's like Incarnate Word and all these teams.
McNeese is nice though. They've been nice for a minute.
Well, they lost moving on. Moving on. So it's going to be an entirely different world. So I don't know. There's your sleeper.
Someone's got to come out of it. So are you giving a stamp of approval to Northwestern State?
I like Northwestern State. Quentin Bolton gets an A. Izzy Miles gets a B in my ranking system. Northwestern's all B pluses, and that's Northwestern State. The Southland will be good. The Southland has been good for a couple of years. It's been punching above its weight class, and it'll continue to do that.
Beat the piss out of Clemson. That was lopsided, really. It was
not even close. You know what? I think that was the only ACC team to lose.
North Carolina.
There was some ACC stat about what Clemson did, or some favorite stat. Either way, McNeese really embarrassed Clemson.
I think they were the only favorite really to get beat.
Yeah.
I know there was 8-9s, but
of course that was one of the few dogs I took that day.
We watched that one crumble in the Vegas house.
Yeah. brutal. But not as brutal as watching just endless Southland basketball, which you don't really have to do to get a grasp on this stuff, right? And I think, maybe our final point of the night, show runs 9:15 to 10 p.m. every Tuesday night. Human attention spans 45 minutes, folks. Come on, let's be real. Let's talk a little bit about data. What we do here at Shot Quality and Shot Quality Bets is use location data to essentially supplement our eyes, to take away some of the demand of, and I just checked, there were 6,200 games last year in Division I college basketball. It is too much to watch. You can't watch it all. Like the best of the best, maybe watch every team a handful of times with their own eyes. It's just impossible. There's 360 plus teams. So Matt, my question for you is, how have you sort of developed your statistical eyes? Like, and again, don't do something. I don't know what you sit on the fence of giving away your edge on the internet. Don't feel like you have to give away the secret sauce. If you feel like I'm getting too close to it, you can just kick me out of the Krusty Krab like Plankton. That's my second SpongeBob episode.
I was going to say, wait a second.
Of the first episode, but it's okay. How have you developed like your statistical eyes? Like what do you really look for to say like, okay, well, this is going to be a good fit in this position, like even if you didn't watch a whole bunch of Southland last year?
You talked about the onion. We talked about peeling down layers. You just can't take a piece of information and take it at face value when it's a basketball player that you haven't seen a million times. Like if we're talking about any random player, they shoot 40% from, like, let's just do shooting for a second. If we're talking about a floor spacer who's shooting 40% from three, my first question is, what's their role in that offense? Are they going to have to create their own shot, or can they be a floor spacer? Two, if they were a good shooter last year, what was that shot diet like? Were they an on-ball guy who were hitting their threes out of pick and rolls? Were they completely off-ball, off of spot-ups? How many percent of their threes were assisted, which will give you that answer. Were they on-ball or off-ball? And then another little nuance that I like to do is I'll do an analysis. If a shooter's had like maybe 3 years in D1 and he's been amazing once and bad twice, well, what's the right thing to look at? I personally like to see synergy is a hard thing to have these days, but if you have the ability to use synergy, what's their guarded three-pointers off of catch and shoot and unguarded three-pointers off of catch and shoot? Because when we talk about variance, which shot quality dabbles in very heavily, if you're an elite unguarded catch and shoot 3-point shooter and you're a really good free throw shooter, then you're a good shooter, right? But if you're a free throw shooter in the mid 60s and then for whatever reason you're shooting better guarded than unguarded, which happens more often than you'd think, that tells me that there's 3-point variance and you're not actually that good of a shooter and you're going to come back down to earth. So like peeling as many layers, like you answer the question not by seeing what you shoot from three in this particular instance of 3-point shooting. You answer that question by adding context points and clues and questions and then kind of really breaking down a player, because when you're building a roster, you only have 12 players. You cannot just like be like, oh, I need a shooter. He shot 40% on the team.
Yeah. I mean, I think you allow yourself to sort of circumvent a lot of the biases that we see in modern basketball analysis, which I think can be so I don't know if it's the right word, insular, but like, or insulated, and not really bring in the outside context into their take. And I think honestly, we'll circle it back to the NBA and the championship that we just saw, and prayers up to Tyrese Halliburton. But like, you know, the takes around Tyrese, I think, have been very much indicative of the problems in basketball analysis, rather than a glimmering hope for the future. I mean, we're talking about a player, and maybe this deserves its own episode, but we're talking about a player that, you know, really benefited from what the entire team was able to create. I mean, it almost felt like the Pacers had a sixth guy out there sometimes because of the synergy, the literal synergy that they were able to develop through essentially all 5 guys on the floor mastering their roles, including their point guard. And I said it on BetCast the other day. I think there's a fair argument that you could have. I don't know if it's going to win, but I think you could have the argument that Tyrese Halliburton is at some level like the most elite point guard role player, more so than a bona fide NBA star. Like, you couldn't place him anywhere this way you can a true star. You can probably place him a lot of places because he is the elite point guard role player right now. Like, those jump passes are disgusting. I watch them myself. They tear apart the best defenses in basketball in the world. But it's not the same as if you took Jokic, if you took SGA, if you took Luka Doncic. You drop those guys on a half debilitated roster, and they're probably going to get you close to the play-in. I don't know that Tyrese Halliburton does that without the right help, and maybe he does elevate them all, but I don't know. I don't want to get into that right now. I am actually a big fan of his, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I actually think it's more valuable. Yep. It might, and Musa, you said this yourself. You said this today. It might actually be more valuable now to almost be the hyper role player and like almost be better at one thing than being the star who can maybe do anything or do it all or get any bucket at a good level. Like, I mean, Aaron Naismith got the Pacers past the Knicks.
Ty Jerome just got like $12 million for a year.
Yeah. I mean, it is go stand in the corner and shoot those threes. If you got
that man was almost out of the league, like
right,
as a rookie, because the Suns don't know how to do jack squat.
Well, that is a definite topic for another episode, Mr. Musa.
The moral of the story is elite shooting role players are never going to be out of style, especially when you can be a secondary playmaker.
Yep, and and as long as, especially when you have more than one initiator and you have someone who can drive the lane, and maybe next time you come back, Matt, we'll have to talk about the specific potency of the kick-out three and how it's changed the shape of basketball, because you and I were discussing that a little bit this morning. But it is 10 o'clock. That is our bell to get out of here. Thank you so much for watching the first ever episode of Shot Quality Live Hoops Chat. It's the pilot. There's no music. There's no outro credits. You were here on the first day, so thank you. We'll be back next week. There'll be a new person in Matt's chair. He'll be back at some point, so don't miss him too much. Please go make sure to follow him on Twitter. One of the sharpest analysts. Even if he does tell you your team isn't smart, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Thank you, Matt, for coming on the show. We'll see you soon. And thank you at home for watching. This is Shot Quality Live Hoops Chat every Tuesday night I'm Justin Perri. That's Alec, the Moose, Musa, and for the whole team at Shot Quality and Shot Quality Bets, thank you so much. And always stay true to your process. Have a